Renault has reinvented its 5th generation Clio and now wants you to consider it in this frugal full hybrid e-tech guise. A far-reaching visual makeover is complemented by a higher quality cabin, and there are sporting Alpine themed touches for the plushest version. If your next Super Mini needs to be electrified but you're not quite ready for a full EV, this Gallic contender's worth a look.
Unlike the plug-in e-tech engine that Renault uses in the Capture, this Clio e-tech full hybrid doesn't use a PHEV power plant. Renault reckons that would make this little Super Mini too pricey. Instead, it's a self-charging full hybrid unit like that in, say, a Toyota Yaris or a Honda Jazz, so it can, for very short periods, run independently on full electric power, unlike the mild hybrid engines you'll now find in some of this car's small hatch rivals. Renault makes much of the way the design of this car's engine borrows from its F1 racing technology. And like the brand's racing power plant, this one is extremely compact and features 2 electric motors, one with 36 kilowatts on the rear of the gearbox and one with 15 kilowatts on top of the transmission, along with a 4-cylinder 1.6 litre normally aspirated petrol engine, which contributes most to the 145 horsepower total output. The gearbox is an auto, of course, but of the more unusual dog box, clutchless variety, and the motor is powered by 1.2 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery packs located beneath the boot floor. The rest of the drivetrain has somehow been shoehorned beneath the bonnet. If you really don't want to have to find the considerable premium of around £3,500 that Renault wants for its hybrid tech, or your limited annual mileage doesn't justify it, then the French brand will continue to sell you this car fitted out with the old, more conventional 3-cylinder TCE 90 petrol engine. Here though, our focus is on the e-tech hybrid you'd ideally want. There's plenty of mid-range pulling power, so plenty of scope for enthusiastic progress here, particularly if you select the most dynamic of the 3 drive modes on offer, Sport. But you're not going to want to use that too often for fear of decimating the frugal fuel returns which would have prompted you to choose this car in the first place. Think up to 65.7 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 96 grams per kilometre of CO2. For these kind of readings, you'll want most of the time to stay in my sense, a hybrid setting which blends the petrol and electric motor output for maximum economy. Or possibly in the Eco setting, which uses a more measured mapping of the accelerator pedal and adapted gear changing for greater economy. In town, you might want to select EV, which prioritises battery electric drive up to about 38 miles an hour, providing there's sufficient charge. Renault claims that a Clio hybrid will be able to travel for 80% of urban journeys on battery power alone. There's also a further brake setting on the gear lever, which increases throttle lift-off electrical regeneration. With the original version of this Mark V Clio, you had the feel of newfangled technology paired with previous combustion-era design. But things are a bit different now, thanks to EV design elements borrowed from the Megane E-Tech and the Scenic Vision concept car. The big visual changes with this mid-term update come here at the front. The aforementioned styling chief particularly likes the eyes of this revised Mark V Clio, slim LED headlamps with the brand's latest new wave light signature, each unit incorporating up to 5 beams. The old car had 3. As for rear changes, well, you might notice these restyled clear-lensed tail lamps and the new brand badge that sits between them. Time to take a look up front. It's not so different inside because Renault spent quite a lot upgrading this Mark V model's cabin at its original launch back in 2019, but nevertheless detailed changes have been made. Across the range, nicer materials now feature around the interior, with more soft touch surfaces around the dash and doors, and a smarter steering wheel with the brand's latest Nouvelle R logo. These supportive enveloping seats are a high point, now offering a longer cushion base along with a more enveloping shape. Analog dials have been dispensed with in the colourful instrument binnacle, the display for which, usually 7 inches in size, is upgraded to a new 10-inch edgeless setup with this Esprit Alpine trim level, the largest in the segment. This portrait-orientated centre dash EasyLink infotainment screen also changes in size according to trim, usually 7 inches, but upgraded to 9.3 inches with this Esprit Alpine variant. This larger monitor adds the finishing touch to what Renault's tried to do here, feeling satisfyingly sophisticated as you poke, pinch and swipe your way through the menus. OK, let's pull back this disguised C-pillar door handle and take a seat in the rear. We weren't especially impressed by the space provided back here when we first tested this Mark V Clio back in 2019, and we're still not, though at least the hybrid system's been packaged in such a way as to not detract further from the knee, leg and head space available. But does that matter, given that for the majority of buyers these rear seats will be used only occasionally for adults and more regularly for children? Only you can decide. OK, we'll finish with a look at cargo space. Now, the non-hybrid TCE version of this Mark V Clio offers up to 391 litres of boot capacity. A figure here in this electrified model reduced to 301 litres thanks to the battery pack positioned beneath the cargo area floor. Still, that's only 3 litres less than you'd get in a Honda Jazz, and it's 15 litres more than you'd get from a Toyota Yaris. One day we'll come across a Super Mini fitted with a properly flexible 40-20-40 split backrest, but that day hasn't yet come. So this Clio gets the usual 60-40 split affair, which when pushed forward frees up 1,054 litres of capacity across an almost flat low floor.